Huzzah, everyone! We are talking about Cursed Season 1 over here on Netflix today with Katherine Langford, a big fan. I'm a big fan of hers. I'm sure many of you guys are as well. But is it any good? Well, let's find out. Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new TV review for Netflix Season 1 of Cursed. If you guys are new here, consider hitting that like and subscribe button, where I do tons of geeky content and tons of early reviews for a ton of great stuff every single day on a daily basis. If you guys are new here, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on content like this over here on a daily basis, as well as comment down below and let me know your guys' thoughts. Are you guys excited for Cursed? Are you not? Let's discuss it all down there. Cursed is about a teenage sorceress named Nimue who encounters a young Arthur on his quest to find a powerful and ancient sword. I was really excited for this show nonetheless because of Katherine Langford. I'm a major fan of her, and especially some of the smaller stuff that she's been in. I think she's an actress who deserves this kind of forefront of material, and Cursed really much gives her that. Plus, the graphic novel was created by Frank Miller, a comic creator that I've just always been a big fan of, always looked up to him, and his creative visions that he's truly had into this wild space of mythology, and all that tying together made me excited. I liked the trailers, I liked the previews, and overall, I can say Cursed is a decent overall time. I think it does have faults and falters here and there, but usually a lot of first seasons do, but I found the potential in here to be a lot rooted inside the characters and story to the point where I'm actually excited to see more of a season 2 than a season 1. Which really, let's just start out with my pros. My number one pro for this is Katherine Langford as Nimue. She is incredible in here. I actually think she's absolutely the best part about this whole entire series, and truly she's actually the one who gives the overall best performance out of every single actor. Yes, there are some faults to some of the writing, which we will get to, and some of the stuff that she has to do and some of the subplots, but overall her character is really the central focus and really the thing that I was really jived in. I believed in her adventure. I believed in what she was at stake for. I liked a lot of the powers and the mythology behind her character and really the story, the tragicness of her and how she's kind of been left out. I think for outsiders, people who've ever felt like an outsider are really going to relate to her. You know me, I'm a geek. A lot of people didn't like that back in the past, and you know, sometimes you can feel like an outsider, and I think a lot of people are really going to fall in love with her character, and I think a lot of that goes to the performance itself. I also really want to give a shout out to Gustav Skarsgård, who plays Merlin in here, and of course Devin Tyrell, who plays a young King Arthur in here. Both of them really bring a nice mix of material in here, and really both of them do such a fascinating job at that. This interpretation of Merlin is really different than one that we've seen before, but I kind of like this different interpretation. I like this drunkard type of druid that we've never really encountered. The magic, the mythology of him, the symbolisms that he really goes through on this journey are quite interesting, and really this version of Arthur again is a different type of version than we've seen before. He's not the humble, kind of brooding one that we've seen before who's, you know, this kind of underdog hero. He is someone who is a badass at nature, but also has grown up with the wrong part of people, and I really like that. Again, the series really mixes it up with these two main characters because these are characters that we've followed along before, seen many interpretations of, and this is a different interpretation. And again, I have never read the graphic novel that Frank Miller wrote, and I don't know really much about it. I don't know the differences, how accurate this is to it, so I do want to understand that. I do not know how great of an adaptation this is, but as a series, I really like these characters, and I thought overall they were some of the most interesting parts about this whole season 1. Overall, the transitions and editing style for this show is actually really good. I loved how it felt like it was just coming and breathing to life off a graphic novel. It really does feel like you're reading a graphic novel and it's just telling you a picture story. It's quite impressive, and when you actually get to see some of the designs that they did inside this show, it is really outstanding how they were able to bring it all to life, and I thought those were some of the most out-inspiring things of this whole entire show, and one of the things that really sets it itself against other fantasy shows that we've seen before on Netflix, Hulu, HBO, all those sorts. And it made it for a very, what could be a story that is kind of convoluted at times, and maybe you look at The Witcher, which I thought easily that was the worst part about the season 1, was the convolution of some of the story and the timing and all that sort of stuff. Show, in fact, actually does different elements with that, and I, again, really appreciated that overall. Diving into that aspect a little bit more, the mythology, the world, all that, this whole thing is just great. The action sequences are actually quite exciting at times, and overall, when you look at all of those, they really come together in a really stylish manner, and this is a brutal and gory show that really, there's times where you see heads are lopping off, wolves are getting torn apart, people are getting torn in half. It is really out there. And, you know, I like when shows can go that far. But what I will say is that there are times where someone will, like, slash someone, and there's, like, no definitive cut or anything there. But then at times there's other ones, and it kind of made it for a weird, it's like, we can't do that, that's going to be a little bit too brutal, but we can show someone get cut in half and then show the other side of the body. It's a little bit weird and different in that particular elements of the story, and it kind of caught me off guard, and I don't really get why some of those things. Some of the sound effects kind of seemed a little bit too much when it came down to the sound design and the sound mixing. But really, what this show comes about is that this was a hard show to binge for me, and this could be different for everyone. I got through the first season within just a couple of days, but I really felt like I had to force myself to watch this show at times. And necessarily that's not because it's a terrible show. It's not even a bad show. It's a pretty good show. But it's one that I expected to be great, and one that I wanted to be great. And a lot of the storylines in here seemed a little bit too much. Some of them seem a little bit mismatched, and some of them are really, I think some of the subplots in here were completely useless and had nowhere else to go with. I think that is actually where I really get to my deepest cons for this, is some of the writing. The romance in here, I didn't really believe in. And one of the episodes in particular, when it's building it up, just was kind of cringy for me. I just looked at it, I'm like, come on. Like, we didn't see that happening. Why is he denying her? Why is it? It's dumb. And some other characters come into play that I just didn't think we needed to see so much of their story. You know, if it's in the comics, that's fine. It's fine to adapt it, but sometimes you need to know what to cut and what to leave. And I think some of the things is a little bit trimming, and I think some of the episodes, you know, lead up to be 48 to 56 minutes, and I think this season as a whole arc of 10 episodes could have been done in at least 8, and even adding to that, some of the episodes could have at least been 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and I think it would have made for a better structured show overall. And I think that's where I get down to my deepest cons for this, and where, you know, I really grade a show by how much I really want to binge it. And Cursed didn't drag me back because of these meandering subplots that at times just kind of dragged the story down. These repetitive elements that really got in the middle of all these characters, and I just felt like they were trying to figure out places and figure out things for them to do. Definitely the season does pick up by the middle point of the season, and it finally made me like, okay, I really want to see where this is going. And I was still interested in Nimue's character alone and Katherine Langford's performance and the action and all that stuff, but it just felt very repetitive in the beginning arcs of this all, and it just felt like it was trying to show us so much at once, and I feel like it should have been toned down just a bit more to certain characters when it really was Nimue, Arthur, and Merlin's story. Mostly Nimue and Merlin, to be honest with you. Here's my final thoughts on Cursed. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Are you guys excited for the show? Are you not? I'm really curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. Of course, hit that like and subscribe button if you guys are new here as well, so you don't miss out on content like this over here on a daily basis, as well as head on over to Samsung Films on how to see films early. And of course, just a big thank you to you and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. Season 1 is not bad. It's not even terrible. It's not great either, but it's good. It has a solid foundation for what can make a great season 2, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. The action's great. It's stylized and pretty cool. The blood, there's a lot of it, and sometimes the sound mixing is a little bit too much for the gruesomeness, and I wish they would have gone a little bit further with those elements. The characters in here are superbly the best part about this. Nimue, Arthur, and Merlin, I was really sucked into them. The performances are all outstanding, especially Katherine Langford, who just kills this role. Really, though, the structure of the story, some of the writing with the romance, in general, some of the repetitiveness, really makes for the show to feel a little bit dragged out. Instead of 10 episodes, it should have been 8. It could have even been shorter episodes, and I think it would have made for a more self-contained time. Some of the subplots go nowhere, and just by the end of the season, I felt like I'd gone on a long journey truly with Nimue, and even felt some of the frustrations that she had felt on this journey. And I really shouldn't have. I love fantasy. It's one of my favorite elements, and overall, I still enjoyed this show, but I think it's going to make for a stronger season 2 if it does get one, because of the elements already structured inside this one. The Red Paladins, I didn't even mention, really cool nemesis, and I really liked them throughout the whole entire season 1. They were really menacing, and really when they showed up, the way they played with the characters, the editing, and of course the transitions was just quite unique. So with all that said, I'm going to give Cursed Season 1 a C+. People will be like, Zach, that's pretty low. Yeah, it's like a 7.5 out of 10. It's pretty good, guys. It's still passing grade. Thank you guys again so much for clicking on this video. Let me know your guys' thoughts on Cursed. Did you guys like the show? Did you not? Do you feel the same way I do? I'm so curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. Thank you guys again, and of course, until next time, stay classy.